Are you looking for a great bread that's packed with flavor, super easy to make, and great for grilling or eating hot right out of the oven? I've got the bread for you. Stick with me and I'll show you how. This is a rustic Spanish loaf. I use it for a lot of things and because it's just such a great bread. So let's get making it. Wet, dry, and right where the wet, dry, and the bowl, where they come together, is where we start. Want to get our dough as dry as we can before we go to the table. So we have just a little bit of crumbs left, mostly dough here, and try to get all that in the dough so that we can take it to the table, finish the job. So you take your dough, putting on the table, take all your extra dry ingredients, put it right in the middle, and right now it's super weak, so we're going to develop some gluten by our signature method here at the classroom, fold, press, turn. So fold in half, press one time, turn the dough, fold, press, turn, fold, press, turn. We're just going to keep doing that. Okay. And as you get all your crumbs, put them back in the middle. Continue on. So when you make a dough and it has all the crumbs aren't going in, just give it a squeeze. Get them wet. Go back. So a good dough, you see how it's cleaning the table? That's what it's supposed to do. And it was sticky for just a little bit, but most doughs go through a sticky stage. And if you just keep the process going, fold, fold, press, turn the dough, then most likely you will get through that sticky stage. And if it starts sticking again like it's doing right now, pull it off the table, press a little lighter. So if you're pressing like light as a feather, which I'm pressing super light right now, and it's still a little sticky, I might dust with just a pinch of flour to fix that up. All we're looking for is to be smooth on the outside. When you press your finger on it, your fingerprint disappears. Needs about 10 more seconds. This dough is done. We're gonna let it rise until it doubles, and I'll let it sit here right on the table, although we'll cover it, and we'll come back to that when it's time. So the bread has now about doubled in size, and we are going to take it out and shape it into a loaf. At this point, you could cut it in half and make 2 small loaves, and I think that's what I'm gonna do. You'll take it and you kind of want to even out the dough a little bit. So you first even it out, and then I'm going to tuck and roll. So I'm going to start at one end and I'm going to tuck and roll. Just tuck and roll, tuck and roll. When you get to the ends, pull the end in a little bit. Okay, tuck and roll, tuck and roll. Pull. I'm kind of tucking and pulling back just a little bit, like tension on it. When you get to the end, just tuck in just a little bit. And then continue to roll, roll, roll. At this point, I'm actually using pressure. It feels thinner here and thicker on this side. So I'm gonna use a little pressure to help even the dough out a little bit. So I'm kind of squeezing it where it's thicker, kind of squeezing and pulling it to the side. Tuck in. I'm gonna take it all the way. This one, tuck in just a little bit. And then when you get it to the end, a little sticky. We might have to dust with flour. Just a little sticky. So I don't want to put a ton of flour on it, but just a little bit to keep it off the table. And then right here, where the bread, where it came together, we're going to close the seam. So you just pinch all the way down your seam. Pinch it hard. You can't really hurt it at this juncture. You might do it more than once. We're going to sprinkle some cornmeal on here. And we're going to let them grow a little bit. So we have our proof box down the line. Done. So our bread is looking good. It's proofed. It might be just a hair overproofed. You can touch it and feel that it's soft and there's some air inside of it. You can see where I have thick and it got a little thin, which we saw earlier. And you really can't do a whole lot like to move it over. That's things like that are going to happen. So resist the urge. I want to show you that it's just going to stick to you. So you kind of, once you're on the pan, you're committed, all right? Because it's also, if you squeeze it like that, it'll just get smaller. And this particular bread, before it goes in, we're just going to gently cut through the top. A razor blade works really good for this. This is just a small serrated knife. I'm not pressing very hard at all. And then we're going to lightly dust it with a little bit of flour. We're going to put it in the oven on the upside down rack, just like it is. We're going to set our timer. Check it. This rustic Spanish loaf is fantastic. It came out beautifully. As we talked about, you can hear it's crispiness. So we're going to cut it and we're going to eat. So I like to cut it on a bias or on an angle. Let the knife do the work. Slide through. You don't want to press the loaf down, although it's a very firm loaf. And you can eat it just like it is. Soft. Warm and soft and beautiful. Or you can grill it, which we've done here by laying out some of the bread, putting some oil on it, rub that in. Now it'll definitely grill better when it's a day old, but I can grill it right now and it'd be fantastic. I'm gonna put it in a nice hot pan and hear that sizzle. When it goes in, a little oil and salt on the back to make it even more amazing. And then when you make some, you're welcome to freeze it. Wrap it in plastic wrap and put it in your freezer and save it for another day. I love this bread. You'll love this bread too. The link to the description will be in the show notes. Please like and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know all the new videos that are coming out, and we'll cook again soon. Have a great day.